Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another day, a new day, a bright Sunday, a day that the Lord has made that we should all be glad and rejoice in it. Today is yet another episode of health issues. Today's topic is the external and internal cleanliness. What is it? At the end of the program, we will all understand what we have to do to prevent ourselves from getting, let's say, dirt or creating some rubbish internally and externally. This afternoon, I have my own brother who has always been with us. He only goes off when it is an emergency situation. Otherwise, he is my twin brother on this program. This afternoon, could we please welcome our own brother, Mr. Ackon George. Mr. George, welcome to Richmond Media once again.
Thank you.
How are you today?
By His grace, by divine selection, I'm fine. I hope you're also doing well.
I'm doing great by grace that has sustained us up to this point. This afternoon, to our viewers and listeners, we welcome you all to Richmond Media this afternoon. Wherever you are, we encourage you as the program starts. Please invite your friends and family. Share the program if you have access to it so that others can also have the chance to benefit from today's discussion. Don't forget, please, to subscribe, like, and share the program so that the program will be enjoyable and it will be able to reach others who have not heard of us. Brother George, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I also want to thank our viewers and our listeners for your precious time you always also have for us. And I hope by the end of the lesson or our discussion, we will be able to have a fruitful discussion. And since it's concerning our health, we can be able to maintain our health and also prevent ourselves from series of maladies we are spending money also on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother George. As the program begins, what is the explanation of internal and external cleanliness? Please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
When you read a book called Ministry of Healing, page 127, paragraph 1, page 127, paragraph 1, it says that the only hope of better things is in the education of the people in right principles. Therefore, our viewers and our listeners can get good health when we all follow the right principles. And when we violate the right principles to do our own lineup of principles, then we have what we call a disease. Now, with the issue of cleanliness, whenever we talk about cleanliness, what most people, our mind goes on is about just sweeping our environment, laying our bed, and that's all, going to bath, that's all. But today we want to take our time and reason together, as Isaiah said. When we talk about cleanliness, it's about both the abstract state of being clean. So the process you go through to be clean and free from debt is what we termed as cleanliness. and the process of achieving and maintaining that state will maintain that cleanliness you have achieved. So, like pig, you can maintain you can just take the dirt or the filth from the pig, but the next option, it's maintaining that cleanliness, is another issue. So that's one form. Another form too is that at times you realize that God creating this human system, we have what we call the normal flora. So we will say to the layman as normal germs. So we have some bacteria or some germs that helps your skin. When that germs that helps your skin are at the skin site, we will term it as a normal bacteria because it does not cause harm there. But when that filth or that germ move from the skin and enter, let's say, the mouth or the intestine or the stomach, then because that place it has lost its destination, it's been determined as a germ or a bacteria which is filth there. Therefore, today's lesson will help us to know the process that you can take those things also out from the internal organs outside so that you can maintain a better health. So that's the overview of the internal and external cleanliness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. One may ask, if that's the case, then what are the importance of both internal and external cleanliness?
Okay. Whenever we are maintaining cleanliness, there are importance of maintaining them. One is that whenever you are maintaining cleanliness, both externally or internally, that's the importance I'm combining together. That number one is that it will calm your nerves. It will calm your nerves. Whenever there is dirty or there is filth, we will say germs inside a particular place, there will be a chaos. But when you are maintaining the cleanness, it calms nerves. When we talk about nerve is like cables, like our normal cables that carry electrical impulses between your brain and from your brain to the rest of the body. So it's the nerve action that will let you know that you have stepped on firewood or you have stepped on a nail. So you need to respond to pain. It's a nerve activity. So whenever we are maintaining cleanliness, it calms our nerves. Number two is that it relaxes our mind. So whenever we are having a mental problem or mental related issues and we are maintaining cleanliness, it helps relaxes our mind. Now the next one too is that it preserves our clean and physical state. So as we are sitting here, I presume we have good health. That's why we are all here by God's grace. So if you want to maintain that health, maintenance of health, then there is a need for cleanliness. The next one too is that it eases pains. At times people will have body pains, stomach pains, chest pains, eye pains, wherever you can mention and attach pain to it. When you want to remove or redeem yourself of this pain, then cleanliness is an option. The next importance is that it lessens fatigue. When there is filth and there is so much toxic, that's what we toxic in the system. Little thing, you are tired. Less activity, you are tired. When resting, you are tired. So when you want to maintain that, that's another importance you get by maintaining cleanliness. The next thing too is that it helps improve or increase blood flow. And in this human system, when there is free circulation of blood, it means blood will be able to go to all the vital organs, your eye, your brain, your heart, every part, and you'll be able to get good health. So that's another important. Another thing too is that it improves your immune system. So whenever you are thinking of immune booster, you can never do everything and neglect cleanliness. So it improves your immune system. And it also prevents the spread of infection. We have some conditions that we call the infectious conditions, which means it can be transmitted from me to my sister Hannah. Therefore, those infectious conditions, if you want to maintain it or prevent your spread, cleanliness will help you to also do that. Then also it helps clean your environment and boost yourself. When you are going to some place and your shirt is dirty, or when someone is coming to visit you and your room is very dirty, you realize that you say, oh, can't you come the next day or tomorrow? You'll be postponing. So these are some of the importance that we can get from this lesson, cleanliness. Thank you.
So, someone made mention of a comment that I want to ask you if that is the case. Someone said, we're trying to prevent a child from playing in the mud. Well, the person said the child has to build up the immune system by playing in them. How does that plays a role in maintaining cleanliness?
I didn't get the last part. He said by
How
not playing.
mhm. How does it play a role? What kind of role does it play in maintaining a hygiene or cleanliness in the body?
I
If
want to get a question. He said he should play at where?
in the mud,
Ah, okay, but not in the dusty area, right?
not necessarily that dusty, but what a person was trying to say is that you have to allow the child to explore in order to maintain or in order to build up the immune system. If that's the case, you can allow the child or the baby to just get into the dust or in the mouth just to build up the immune system. What relation has that got to do with maintenance of the internal and external cleanliness?
Okay. You realize that whenever you are exposed outward and you are doing that exercise and your goal is maintaining your immune to boost your immune system. When we are talking about immune system booster, cleanliness is one, two, exercise two is one. So you exposing yourself, doing some activity outdoor, no matter the surrounding. It also helps your muscles to strengthen. And in that case, it also helps the lung muscles. So if the person inhales dust, we have God has designed the hair in our nostrils that will be able to trap the dust. And that is a medium of prevention. Then before it enters your lungs, if some penetrates your lungs, it gives it the strength by a normal mechanism to cough it out. That's why you can pass through a dirty area. When you cough, you can sense some dust in it. And that's exercise, that aspect. The next one too is that coming outward, you inhale good air, quality air. So not necessarily the dust alone, the quality air helps boost your system. And when you expose yourself to outdoor sunlight exposure, and with the sunlight, you have the light procedure, like what we call the healing from the light. It's what we term as phototherapy, the heat from the light. That's what we term as phototherapy. So when the child is playing outdoor, the light from nature, he will get that healing property from the light from the nature. Another aspect is the heat from nature. The heat from nature will help improve circulation because that will create the heat environment for the person to sweat. And in that aspect, internal organs will be eradicating the filth out, and it can come out in a form of sweat. That's what we mostly see. So, and the radiation aspect also from the light. So, whenever we are doing that thing, the child is doing it outdoor. Although you can see the dust on the person or anything, but you get other benefits that will help boost the immune system. So, it's right.
Thank you. Before we continue, my boss will permit me to wish you important people in my life a happy birthday. The first one goes to my own brother, Quad Ampon, who celebrated his birthday just within the week. Brother Ampon, may God richly bless you as you age gracefully. And to my childhood teacher, Mr. Reginald Herbert Asamoah Otu, who is a police officer at what's the name? I've forgotten the name. It's in Accra. Um, it will come later. Mr. Samoa Pokuasi. Mr. Samoa, I wish you a happy, happy, happy birthday. You know, it's not everyone that is blessed to have a dad, a teacher like you. I'm so blessed to have you. Way back, somewhere 1992, 93. But we are still connected. Thank you for the love that you always show to me. And thank you for following me all the time or whatever program that I bring on board. Thank you. Brother, at this time, I think we'll have a commercial break. At the same time, brothers and sisters, if you are sending money to Ghana, I recommend one company to you, and that is OAPay. OAPay is a money transfer company that sends money from any part of the world to Ghana. If you are watching us this afternoon, there is a good news for you. For your first time transferring money to Ghana, there is a code that you can use, and that will give you access to a discount of £10. You will have extra £10 on it. So why don't you use OAPay? As soon as you send it through to us, your family members, friends will receive it instantly. Is it for school fees? Is it for feeding fee? Is it for hospital bills? Or are you embarking on any projects that you are struggling to send money to Ghana from other or through other media? But I recommend one company, and that is the fact. As soon as you put the money through, we send it. It's like you pay me, I pay you instantly. You don't like this, what else would you prefer? Onua Saudi sika eko Ghana. Baby biara a wowɔ biara mekamfo sika ma neɛ nkorabata baako pɛ ɛmaw ɛne ne OAPay. OAPay deɛ wode tu ma ne yɛde ato mu de ama abusuafoɔ. Ɛyɛ school fees anaa ɛyɛ ɛkɔm na de abusua anaasɛ aresabea mu nsɛnsɛm anaa project bi na woyɛ a ɛde pressure ato abrabɔ so a wonhu kwan a wɔmfa so a wonsɛnde sika yi nkɔ fie anaa mekamfo OAPay ɛde ama wo wode tuma ne ɛde atum ama wo baabi biara a wowɔ biara sika no ɛte so anaa wonya extra £10 ɛwɔ so wompɛ wei na wopɛdeɛ rate no so deɛ ɛyɛ paa maso ahwɛ nti mesrɛ wo nso so hwɛ ansa na abɛnya saa sika yɛ free si £10, $10, €10 anaa baabi biara a wɔ biara mu sika no so adesua use code a yɛfrɛ no Richmo so deɛ ɛyɛ papa bi ɛhɔ a ne yɛkasa free ɛyɛ RICHMO medam ase bebree brother George. As we continue, I encourage all our friends and family, whoever is watching us, please share the program. It's very important. The topic is so amazing that will help us to live longer. So please, don't be selfish. Share. If you're watching us, send us a comment and we will acknowledge you or recognize you. Even you can just say hi. That is even more than enough for us. We do appreciate your presence and your time here this afternoon with us. Thank you, Brother George. So, effects of neglecting both internal and external cleanliness. What are those? Thank you.
Okay. So it means whenever we fail to maintain the cleanliness, both internally and externally, it will have effects on our whole being. It will have effect on our whole being. Number one, it will lead to infectious conditions. There will be infectious conditions all over. Number two, since it's going to affect you, it will loosen you. Your immune system will be weakened rather than being boosting. So it will weaken your immune system. Another aspect too is that it will lead to mental related or brain related conditions like the depression and those aspects. You also mood issues, mood swings, and other aspects relating to the brain. Another issue too is that it will lead to body pains, abdominal pains, and other pains you can be talking about. because we have talked about the importance. Then also, it will let you always be having series of tiredness, less activity, you are tired. At times too, even relaxing, you will be tired. Why? Because easy fatigability will be a problem here. And you have skin related conditions. So whenever we violate the the principles of cleanliness, it will make our blood impure. Because as we will be going deeper, you realize that there are certain things that you do that will help penetrate from the outer to inside, and it will make your blood impure. And when your blood is impure, that same blood is going to pump to every vital organ of the body, and that is going to also feed the cells. And when that happens, we will see how this order we will be getting. So, beloved, our viewers and our listeners, let's note that whenever we neglect to maintain cleanliness, that contributes to majority or highest percentage of the sickness we are suffering now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother George. Sister Josephine has sent us a message. Sister Josephine Adebi says, watching your live from Volta region, very educative. Thank you, Richmond Media. Thank you, Sister Josephine, for always supporting us, Richmond Media. Thank you for giving us your handsome husband. you know, to be with us all the time. We really appreciate you both in our lives. We thank God that you are part of Richmond family. Brother George, there is a question that I don't want us to go. You see, back home, our pregnant ladies or women, you will see them eating. Sometimes they get a clay from wherever. We call it chalk, chile, ayilo, whatever. Sometimes too, they get portions of bricks from the walls, the buildings that were done by bricks. Mind you, especially when it rains a bit, you can even get the, should I put it as aroma? That's how I put it. You can get the flavor or smell the flavor of the clay, and that gives them the impression of them yearning for it or craving for it. How does that plays a role in terms of pregnancy or maternity? Thank you.
Okay. So what I would say is that you realize that that's what we call the pica, the pregnant tumor, because they are pregnant, anything that they sense. That's the sense. So it means they are choosing their food. Some are choosing their food based on sensory adoption, and that's the scent smelling. We advise, and now you realize that although you crave for, although you will crave for so many things, most pregnant women crave for so many things, but it doesn't also necessarily mean that all the things you are craving for are healthy for your system. So unlike the shrey or the white clay, you realize that we don't eat them, but it can be used for external purposes. So that's why most people who are fond of taking those things and taking the white clay, that's what where I am now. That we here there is a mining area for white clay in Volta region. Here is they mine the white clay, so it's one of the places that they get it. So realize that most people are eating well and eating this white clay and leading to so many anemic conditions, low blood issues. Yes, and you realize that when you go to the labor wards and co, those who are found of eating them at the later stage, You deliver the baby and you see that whitish substance around the baby. Then if you are not careful and it's at the early stage of pregnancy and you are craving, because you are craving, so you are eating them, you end up losing or getting an abnormality of your baby. Why? The reason is that whenever you ingest it, at that aspect, assimilation of nutrients occurs in the small intestines. What it does is like it's going to cement the intestine, the pores within the intestine. So you might be eating a nutritious food, but when it gets there, something is already there and it will bypass it. So at the end, you realize that we're having so many people attending or visiting us with anemic cases. Why? Because every house you go within my region here, they are mining it and they are molding it. They are doing it's a business. So we want to advise our pregnant women that whenever you are craving for things, you make sure that you think of the nutritional aspect. At times, that will want to control you, but if you violate it and take anything, that also contributes to some infections and some maladies that they at times also get.
But you know what? I've heard something about this clay. Someone made mention that it is a source of, you know, um, what word should I use? It's a source of boosting up the hemoglobin. Is there any relation to that? Maybe that might have been the myth why people are using it.
Okay. We have in the natural healing, we have what we call the geotherapy. That's healing with the soil. And
Okay.
healing with the soil or healing with clay, we have the white clay, we have the red clay, and when it comes to, and we have the other clays you talk about, we have the white, the saltpeter there, those, or we mine it and take it out of the ground. That's what we call the geotherapy. So it will come to a procedure when someone is managing you or treating you, and based on the history he will get, will assist you with, if you want to use the option as geotherapy, healing with clay, then he will use example of the healing with clay. You realize that back in the olden days, as we are referring to, when someone was having bleeding from the nose,
Yeah,
you
I used
realize that as they are having the red clay, they will just put the red clay in a spoon. Then they will pour in your nostrils, ask you to sit still. Then they will put a key in the villages, that big key. Then they will put that big key on the top of your nose bridge. And they will tell you that don't let it fall. The essence is not the key. The point is the clay. So you realize after a few minutes, then they will come and remove. When you bend, there will be no bleeding. So it has its related issue that we use in treating those conditions. But in this case, you know that always someone will take history, note your current condition before he will implement what at what time. Thank you.
so in the normal sense, if I'm getting you, it has a healing therapy
So
relating to what is being communicated around.
exactly.
If that is the case, then they can take it. If that
They
is the
can
case, then they can enjoy it.
know before you see, someone knows that, let's say in the chemical field, let's say diclofenac is a painkiller. So does it mean not all stomach related problems can take diclofenac? If you are having ulcer and you want to go with a chemical when you take diclofenac, you end up aggravating your pain. So
That's
unless you are being prescribed.
that is true. I'm getting you. Thank you. You know what? Okay, now I'm getting you. So how can I ensure external cleanliness is
Okay.
done?
So with external cleanliness, I want to put with the human being in between first. So we want to talk about the surrounding, then we come externally to our body. You realize that nowadays, most people, we have gutters around. Your next neighbor is having gutter around, but you are staying at the top. Whenever it wants to rain, your point is that going to where they dump refuse to pay your 1 cedi 50 pesos and co, you huge it. Whenever you sense the tender ground, you just take your dustbin and you go and dump it. It will push into the next neighbor. So whenever there's external filth or dirtiness around, it contributes a lot of conditions. Why? Because flies can even go and lie on it and come home and also rest on your food. And at the same time, you are going to eat it. You have animals in your house, your pets in your house. They might go in that place, take anything they want to take. When you come, your child is eating, they don't mind. They also put their mouth also in the bowl. At the end, ingesting and causing a problem. So please, for ensuring external cleanliness, if the two of us are staying at one place where we know our surroundings are bushy, our surroundings are not good in good state, we don't necessarily need to wait for the president to bring the DC down, the assemblyman and the chief to organize communal labor before we can maintain. Probably you are staying at A and the person is staying at Z. So externally, our personal hygiene should be external environmental hygiene is a key, please. That's contributing to a lot. So make sure externally it's cool. The environmental hygiene, food hygiene. Food hygiene. You go and buy food, bring to the house. When you bring the food to the house, fruits, vegetables, we want to maintain and ensure that hygienic process. And the way you can ensure that is that you just get your saucepan or your bowl, then you add salt in it. Salt is what we call bacteriostatic. Bacteriostatic means that it inhibits the growth of bacteria. So you first soak your items in that salt solution before you come and use it. At the same time, you make sure that your kitchen, that is your pharmacy, your kitchen, every human being, your kitchen is your pharmacy. So if your pharmacy is having expired drugs and with scented things, it means your environment will bring a disorder into your system. We need to ensure that. Then let's take our human system externally. When we talk about external cleanliness, maintaining the external cleanliness, it's like as we are sitting, but when you stand, you close your mouth. Any part you see is external. So you can go to your room. If you are a female or a male, when you lose yourself, wherever you are seeing in your mirror is external. So it means that ensuring it is a key. Now with the skin, God is so wonderful that you realize that even when we want to go and do operation, surgical procedure, and we want to enter through the skin, everyone will say that let's go to a place that there is no filth, so preferably theater room. And theater room, they know that as they open, there will be reduced level or amount of infection occurring. So the skin is externally immune booster, preventing any filth to enter internally. Therefore, when I close my mouth, the first place I want to talk about is the mouth. You see what the mouth controls everything in the oral cavity inside. So how can I maintain the health of the mouth? By maintaining the cleanliness of the mouth, you need to make sure and be considerate of anything you apply on the lips. Anything you apply on the lips. Why? Because currently, especially our women, they are having that challenge than the male. The male, you see our mouth being brighter or oily during the Hamatan season because we don't want the crackles and co. But you know that most women, how they want to decorate their lips, are contributing to a lot of internal problems. Example is the lipsticks that they are using. There was a study that was conducted in one of the universities in California by the public health group. And they came out that most of the lip glosses and the lipsticks available today contain some harmful levels of chemicals like the lead, like the aluminium, like the cadmium, like the chromium, and they are affecting our health, of which the person might be eating well, might be sleeping well, might be doing all the other principles, but by just the type of the lipstick they are using, what they are using to make their mouth, probably they don't want it to be dry, so that by the dryness there will be crackles. Some people too want to use it to match what they are wearing, or the bag they are holding, or the foot they are wearing. But notwithstanding, they say that they are also noted that continuous exposure to these lipsticks and glossary could lead to a long-term health issues, especially those who apply it more than 2 or 3 times within the 24 hours period. And let's see how some of the conditions that can be linked to just the lip. That is a protective period of the oral cavity. One, they say that the excessive use or the regular use comes will increase your risk of chromium, and chromium will lead to one abdominal tumor. Abdominal tumor. Tumor means cancer. So most people are suffering from stomach-related condition. Probably not today that they started using what they apply on their lips as a protective area. The frequent exposure, so it's a lifestyle condition. You know, when we talk about conditions, we say chronic and acute condition. Chronic condition means that something that you have done for a series of years and it has harbored, then to a point it will overtake the protective area of that particular part, then it will give you a result. So stomach abdominal tumor is one. Another thing is that the preservative inside it, inside the lipsticks and those things, leading to harmful heart issues. So that one too is another one. Another aspect is that we have what we call the polyethylene. Polyethylene. So it's a harmful ingredient in it. That also, when you use, also affects your nervous system. But you want to protect your brain and the nervous system activity. So by maintaining it, also look at what just the lipstick can influence us or can cause some such problem. Then also, you know, some of the sticks that we use has a jelly-like substance also into it, and it traps bacteria towards it. So I'm going to town. I've applied a deeper lipstick. When I want to visit the washroom, I'll go with my mouth and everything. When I come out, you see that environment, it will trap some filth. When I come out and I'm going, if I am going to do the presentation, they'll call me. Then, Mr. I come and preach or whatever. As you are going, you do. So you want it to level. So you do some mingle B. So you at the end you swallow some. So you have what that filth that the gel traps and swallow. So prolonged use of it will leads to that. So please, those things affect the cleanliness or the healthy nature of it, but make sure that whatever you are applying as a lipstick can be something you can eat. So you see, when during the Harmattan season, most people now resort to shea butter. So that's first thing, the list. The second one is about the nostrils. So when we stand like this, you see the nostrils. There are some hair inside. Most people longest have not even cleaned it before. But you see, God has designed it naturally to purify any air that you are inhaling through your nostrils. So maintaining the external cleanliness in your nostrils, you make sure that whenever you go out and come in, you can take a nice clean handkerchief, put in water, let it be moist a bit, then use to clean the nostrils so that it opens or take off those dirt. That's another aspect. Then we talk about lactating mothers, those breastfeeding mothers. Externally, the baby is going to suck the breast externally, not internally. So you make sure that always, as we said last week, the bowl is clean. Now, the major aspect for maintaining external cleanliness is bathing. You see, water is the treatment for external cleanliness, bathing. You know that most people are bathing, but the bath is not complete. Why am I saying that? Because those having cars in their houses, you realize that when you wash one tile, you pour water so that the foam will not stick into the tile. When you go to the window, from the left, after washing, you pour water. So to prevent yourself from the foam sticking to your skin, preferably when you bath from your head to, let's say, your waist area, it's advisably that you rinse yourself. Then you come to your lower part from the waist to your feet. So that's another. Then to our females, don't use that same bucket of water to bath throughout, because you know that when you reach a point, you need to clean your external genitalia. That's when you stand, your reproductive organ, where we are seeing, that's what we call the external genitalia. When you want to clean that aspect, advisably, you need to use different water, because you are using those going to the bath towels with their pails and co. You use your pail in that same bucket. Some people will use their sponge to first immerse in the water, so particles inside. Then you are going to use that same water to wash. And by so doing, you rather introduce some unwanted germs you cannot see inside, but it will pass through outside. So get another water in a different bucket or a different pail and send inside. So when you reach there, you bath well. And bathing your external genitalia, our dear women, it's advisably and best that don't wash from your buttocks to your front. No, whenever you are washing from your bottom to front, you end up introducing infection from your anal region, your anus, to your external genitalia. But that is dirty place. So, but when you wash from the front, that is clean side, to the back, that is dirty side, no problem. So, bathing, that is the mechanism. And you do know that when you are bathing, it's a form of exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at a point you raise your left hand and use your right hand to just wash your armpit. You go the opposite. At a point you bend. At a point you won't even wash your feet well. You need to squat. When you want to wash your anal region so that there will be no scent, we don't stand and be pouring water. No, you need to squat a bit so that frequent water, you can wash them well, both the male and female, so that you know let scent occur at that region, that circular region. So you need to squat a bit so that the anus way will open a bit. Pour a lot of water and wash it well. Then you are clean. Externally, after bathing, you apply something on your skin. Any cream that you are applying on your skin that we do not eat, I want to advise our viewers and our listeners that don't use them. Any cream that when you are outside and you reach home and you realize that your son or Brimpon is eating, then you will be crying, putting your hand in your head, crying. It means it's not harmful to be applied. So let's use whatever we are applying well. So preferably whatever you can eat should be your cream, like the shea butter we can eat, like the coconut oil you can eat. You see, carrots we eat. Carrots you can eat. So you can once a while you can get your oil, you grate your carrots, then you steam it a bit so that it will deduce the nutrient from the oil. Then you can add to your shea butter or your cream, then you apply so that you have a good thing. So externally, from the water, from whatever you are applying, when you do it in that right principles, it will prevent you from so many conditions. That explains why some individuals who are like dark like me, but they want to be fair, I don't know, like any other person, you realize that as the person starts to apply that cream, initially you will not see any difference. But when the cream, consistent use of that cream, to a point, what will happen is that it will now make your blood toxic and it will give you your result. So when you are aging, then you get what they call in our local language like nenso bang, because you rush and had that condition. So after the cream, what you apply externally, that will be the last one. The perfumes you apply. So you realize that there are some individuals who are suffering from cold, always having catarrh, but they are always using a highly scented perfumes. And when they do that, it moves externally inside. Then you begin to be having some condition. So these are some of the things that I want to talk about maintaining the external surface of our body to ensure good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ackon. God bless you. You know what? You've done so well. But you made mention of something that people might not really understand. What is it? When you say the non-soben, I know what you're talking about. How can we translate this non-soben?
The bleach skin.
And bleach skin. That's
When
all.
you
No,
bleach your skin, you realize that it will be like black, white, your elbow black,
it's
but
like
you see, your yes.
black
So
patches.
like yes, black patches, discoloration of your system, your entire system. So where you apply it more, someone want the face, so he applied on the face more, so you get that result at the face. Someone want the hands, so it will be like black, and that discoloration on the skin.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because this non-sovereign is very popular, but people don't know much about it. So we don't know the name, how we should call it. So if we have mentioned it here, that will give others the chance to understand or to know what we're talking about. Okay. In what ways can even death or fails get into the system? And if that is the case, how can we ensure internal cleanliness, please?
Okay. So whenever you fail to bath, by failing to bath, there are some pores within your skin, outside your skin. That's where you sweat. When you sweat, the tiny holes that the fluid comes out of. Whenever I neglect to bath, it means the dirty or those dirt will block those filth. So when internally organs are working for things to come out through the largest organ, the skin, it has already been blocked. So you rather maintain it. Then you'll be having skin related condition. So that's one. Another aspect is our clothes. If you are not washing it well. So you realize in the Bible, Exodus 19:10-11, when God wanted to visit the Israelites, he asked Moses to inform them to wash their clothes, maintain their cleanliness, because he'll be coming to visit them. So whenever you are not wearing a nice clothes, you are not maintaining the hygienic, washing your clothes, and you are applying the dirty clothes, it also introduces this amount of filth into your skin. At the same time, you'll be inhaling them. And as you are inhaling them, it also enters into the system. One, your lungs will be affected. So you realize that whenever you are exposed to highly scented, polluted scented area, you'll be having cold, you'll be having cough. Then that will create a medium of infection. The lungs, through the 8 filters, will filter the blood, and some of these particles will enter and reach the liver. Then the liver is also going to work, but since it's going to work, the blood is already polluted. So that one internally, that one also be affected. Then all the parts of the body that the blood will be supplied to, just some filth that has maneuvered its way to get inside, is one. Another thing is what you eat. What you eat also can create an enabling environment within your system. You know that what we apply as a paste also can affect someone's internally. There's one brand, I don't want to mention any name, there's a paste, one paste in the market. When you read the label, it says that whenever your child below 6 months and some age swallows it mistakenly, treat it as poison. But you see, we are more interested in the products, but not the labels or not the indications. So that's why we advise that since we will be going into internally how to maintain the internal organs with specifics, that initially we're asking people that add charcoal powder to the paste, and people were saying, "Hey, it will make my brush black. It will make it black." But now you see most of the product coming out there, they are adding charcoal to it. The reason is that charcoal has its ability to trap any toxic within a product. So when people apply it and are using it, it also prevents anything from into the system.
Thank you, brother. God bless you. I'll ask you one question. It's a bit tricky, but I'll come back to you. Brother Gavin Price says, teach them squats and wash cut orange whistling. And then Sister Christina Sapon says, important lesson. Thank you so much, Sister Christiana, Brother Gavin, and Sister Josephine, for spending your time with us. I know there are more that are not being noticed just because they've not sent us even any comment. If you have nothing to say, you can say hi or hello, and we will be able to acknowledge or recognize you. Thank you for your time with us. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like it so that others will also know the benefits for coming to this platform. Brother George, yeah, you were going to the organs. Um, yeah. So, yeah, how can we ensure internal cleanliness in these organs? And if there is additional one that you want to add it to, you are free to go. The lungs, kidneys, liver, intestines, and the stomach, as well as the blood. How can we ensure internal cleanliness, please?
Okay, so if I know someone was asking or was thinking, hey, if externally we are bathing, then internally how can we bath inside?
But there is one question that, yeah, my question, let it come before you continue. You know, when you were talking, you made mention of how we have to wash ourselves. When Brother Gavin asked squat and then the rest whistling, and then it came in mind. You know, is the men, they think, yes, they can stand, or where it is, they can just wash it around. So it's the men rather that don't even think of, squatting to clean themselves properly. They only think that because the women, our part is somewhere that we need to, squat to get things done very well or properly. But you, the men, you are also part of it. Don't always point your fingers towards it. What advice would you give it to your fellow men, please? Thank you.
You know, my brother didn't say tell the women, he said tell them, including male, female. So don't be biased here.
No, but
So
usually that's what
yeah,
the men, in quotes,
mm,
think. They always attribute those, characteristics to women, not them. They think they are more cleaner than. us. That's how I have to put it. Thank you.
You see, when you are bathing or you want to maintain that aspect, when you are squatting, we have your anus or your anus, depending on the school there. You have your anus there. So there's a hole that you defecate and you need to wash it. You using your tea roll or whatever does not maintain its quality hygiene. Some people have hairs, full hair there. So if you are using just tea roll, then it might trap some. But when you are bathing, either a male or a female, note that if you are a male, you have the anus there and you need to wash there. But if you are a female, you have additional holes. You have holes. So you need to take care of that 3 holes there. But we have just the 1 hole inside. So make sure either a male or a female, either you are bathing your child or your child, you are now teaching your child how to bath, to squat a bit so that it will open the hole at your anus and the water, frequent water can help you maintain. Else, still to travel from that arena through to your intestines, then it will be falling up rather. So let's be mindful of that as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, now you may continue on where you
Okay,
read
so we want
organs.
to now take some of the internal organs and look at how we can help cleanse or help remove the filth there. One organ I want to talk about is the stomach and the intestines. The stomach and the intestines. When you take the stomach and the intestines, you know that when food enters the stomach, it needs to work on it. Then after working on it, it enters the intestines. It will go to the small intestines. Then in the small intestines, nutrients in that particular food will be deduced and come back mixed with your blood and it's working. Then the leftover will go to the large intestines. Then from there, the filth, it means all those coming are filth remaining, needs to come out. That's a good shape. But whenever you want eat anything that is being refined food or processed foods, it means that you have taken the fibrous nature, the fiber in the food you are eating will assimilate. In other words, will help the food to be able to be moving in your intestine so that it can come out. Then, if you are taking a refined food, it means the assimilation will be impaired. Then the waste food or the leftover foods will now be remaining within your intestines. Then it will create a filth environment leading to constipation. So when you have constipation, there's a filth accumulating in your intestines. Another aspect is you not drinking enough water. Whenever you are not drinking enough water, it will slow the movement of food in your stomach through your intestines for it to come out. And that will also impair movement. So there will be filth there. When you take meat, you know that per scientific studies that we have learned that meat stays take like 3 days before it leaves the system. So whenever today I've taken meat, it means that it will take 3 days. Then tomorrow I've taken. So you realize that the week that you have been taking a lot of meat, when you give or you pass air, you realize that you yourself want to run from your room. Why? Because the smell is not palatable. No. So whenever you have contributed to these issues, what happens is that it will lead to stomach pains. That's what we are talking about, the aches. It will lead to stomach pains. It will lead to someone also wrongful combination of food. Cooked meal, he add drinks to it. Cooked meal, add drinks to it. Wrongful combination will lead to your abdomen being bloated. So you see gas accumulation. So to be able to cleanse, you have a good and a clean intestine. Make sure you are not constipated. That's the first thing. Make sure you are not constipated. As we learned, never be postponing your fecal matter. When the urge comes, it's a call. Whenever you receive it or someone that it calls you, receive and attend. Another thing is adequate water intake. adequate water intake. Another aspect is carrots, and you can take it also as a juice form, where you just take your carrots, grate it in a grater. If you have a blender, blend. If you don't have a blender, you can either grind it in any of your earthenware bowl, depending on wherever you find yourself. What can help you to juice it? Juice it, strain it, and be drinking. That's another thing to help cleanse the stomach. Another thing is cabbage. Cabbage. So because of you see, as we are talking, the abdomen is secreting acid because it knows that as I'm opening my mouth, closing, food is coming. But because I'm not eating, when it accumulates or overproduce and I'm not also drinking enough water, that acid that is being producing will work on the lining of my stomach, and it will lead to ulcer, which will also create infectious medium. So individuals who are chewing gum on an empty stomach, chewing gum, it will lead to secretions of acid in, and then those acid, because you are not swallowing the gum, will work on the lining of your intestine. That explains why those who have ulcer and they are fond of talking too much, they are fond of chewing gum too much, they get pain relief. So whenever you are taking the cabbage as in a form of eat juice or in a form of eat salad, it contains what we call vitamin U, and that vitamin U neutralizes the acid. So it works like you going to the chemical hospital and getting antacid. That's how the cabbage works. Another thing to cleanse the intestines and the stomach is orange. You juicing the orange, chewing the fiber also helps you have a frequent and free bowel. So these are what we talk about. Ginger, don't go minus ginger. Ginger, when we go to a different topic, you realize ginger resembles the stomach. And it helps and works best with your stomach. So this is how we get filth or problems with the stomach and the intestine. And these are how you can take it off or relieve yourself. The next option is liver. Aside the skin, internally, whatever you inhale, whatever you drink, whatever you eat, is the liver. That is the internal largest organ. That needs to work on all the things you have ingested. So if all the things you have ingested are filled, it means that it's going to work on it. And by working on it, it will give you a sign like the fever. If it's not working properly, you can get jaundice, because when red blood cells break down, the end result is what we call the bilirubin, and that needs to come out, and that will give your fecal matter that brownish color. But if your liver is accumulated with filth, what happens is that when we check your bilirubin level in your blood, it will be high. Then your eyes rather will be having yellowish discoloration of your eye going to your mouth. So when you want to help cleanse the liver, number one, water. Don't joke with water. Number one is water. Number two, aside drinking it, full body steam bath, where you boil your water, then you sit inside, cover yourself with a blanket. Not sitting inside like sitting in that hot water. No. Pour that hot water in a bucket or a pan, cover yourself with a blanket, and be in that heat. As you are sweating, the liver is excreting a lot of waste. Then you will be relieved. That's another one. The next one too is about lemonade. The simple preparation of lemonade is one: lemon, water, honey. Lemon, water, honey. So when you get your lemon, that is the main ingredient. So if you get your lemon like 1 cup, then it means you can add water like half cup or more than half cup. Then you add the honey to it. Then you are taking it. It helps the liver. Another one is rosemary. Rosemary is a natural spice that we can use in preparing stew. We can use in preparing our soups and co. You can use it as a beverage. You boil the rosemary, add ginger to it, strain, add lemon to it. As you are taking, it helps the liver to boost itself, clear those fever issues, and you realize that you'll be sweating. At the same time, you'll be urinating gradually and help cleanse the liver. Another thing is beetroot. Beetroot. Beetroot is also a friend of the liver that helps cleanse. You can take it as a salad, you can juice it. So this is what I can say about the liver. The lungs. You know, the lungs is like we will say that the air in charge of air. And when you take sugar, whenever you take refined sugar, it increases mucus production. Mucus here means phlegms in your lungs, preferably the air sac. That explains why individuals who eat a lot of refined sugar and refined sugary products are mostly experiencing cold, are mostly experiencing fever, and in few minutes they are having they are having some easy tiredness. That explains why, because it increases mucus within your lungs. So if you want to clear those things to be able to get a lung clean environment, number one, water. Drinking of water is a key. Number two, what we call steam inhalation. Steam inhalation. You boil your water, then pour it in a cup or a small container. Then we say steam. Steam means the vapor. So you are closing your mouth while deeply but slowly you are inhaling the vapor through your nose. Then you let the steam stay like 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you exhale gradually through your mouth. When you repeat it morning, evening, your lungs will be clearing. Another one is singing. So those who know how to sing and those who don't know how to sing, the Abochi part and co, let's all mix. Early morning, you begin. The song you know how to sing, begin to sing in any voice. This one, we are not marking you. You realize that early morning when you are singing, you are creating a lung exercise. It's a lung exercise. And if they are still causing mucus, phlegms in your building up, in your lungs, you'll be coughing, then you bring it out. So those musicians out there, you realize when you are saying that where they are, at dawn, you see, oh, wah, like dogs who are barking. It's a lung exercise. Another lung cleansing is blowing of balloon. Blowing of balloon. So when you have balloon, then you want to blow, inflate it. It's a lung exercise. So that's another option. That's what I will talk about at the lung arena. Then anything that has natural scent, onion, scented onion. So eating it raw. But take note, because onion is going to clear the air sacs and help maintain the cleanness of your lungs. Don't take it immediately as you are going to bed, but take it when you are active so that you can produce the phlegms out. Kidney is not able to maintain its health when you, one, not drinking water, two, when you keep urine to yourself. Whenever you are doing those things, fluids are not coming out, but rather maintaining. And the filth environment within your kidney will cause what we call kidney stones, will cause the kidney infections. So to be able to cleanse your kidney, anything watery in nature can help clean the kidney. So number one, external to the internal. We are not joking with water. So water drinking is one. And don't wait to be tasty before you are going to drink water, but let it be a habit by sipping them. Number two, watery thing, cucumber. Water in nature. So take it as a salad, you can take it as a juice. Number three, watery thing, salsa. We call it aluguntugui. Salsa, the big apple with that thorns. That's what I'm saying. So whenever you want to cleanse your kidney, you can be eating them. At times you can take the seed out, mash it like you are mashing cake, and blend it well. Then take it in that smoothie form. It helps the kidney. Number four is corn silk. Corn silk, that hairy thing on maize. The hairy skin, like the hairy skin on maize. You can use it as tea. It also helps cleanse felt within your kidney out. Number four, watermelon. Watermelon. You see, water in nature. Eat with its seed. Pumpkin. Eat with its seed. Prepare the stew or your food with it, and you get those benefits. Number five is tomatoes. Fresh tomatoes you can chop, take as salad, but make sure you first maintain it hidden. Soak it in salt, wash it well before you do. Then you can also juice it and take it. It also helps. Then the last thing we will talk about is blood poison. You see, we have a condition what we call blood poison. And blood poison also is not a good septicemia. It's not a good condition. Your blood can harbor filth when one, you are not drinking water. Two, when you are constipated. Three, when you are applying unwanted things to the system, which will go inside the blood, the body and mix with your blood, affecting it. Four, whenever you are ingesting refined, processed, fatty foods, it will make your blood thick, and that can lead to one, the blood cholesterol related issues, leading to hypertension, diabetes, stroke, and its related conditions. The next one is smoke. Smoke. Do you know that most people they are not smoking cigarettes, but because of their smoke room, they have single room. Half of it is their kitchen, half is the bed. Then their windows too is closed. So as you are inhaling this thing, it affects the purity of your blood. And know that the blood needs to go to all parts of the body. And if it's being affected like this, it will also bring something. So to help cleanse your blood, water, drinking of water. The next one, full body steam bath. The next one, eating of variety of leaves, depending on your country you find yourself. Variety, seasoning foods. Also be particular about it. Then also you go with onion, raw onion. You know, onion represents cells. Go with it. And broccoli also cells by helping boost and blood cells, white blood cells, red blood cells, and the other cells. So don't joke with it. Beetroot also will help the blood, and make sure you are not constipated. And those having the activated charcoal powder or the medicinal charcoal powder, be taking it at least every 3 days. Take it in the morning. A teaspoon is to half glass of water. It can be warm. Take it early morning. Why? Because as you go out, you are inhaling a lot of things. As you eat, you are ingesting a lot of things. As you drink, you are ingesting a lot of things. And it is a detoxifier. So it will just help your blood to be pure. So, beloved, internally, these are some of the things that we do to create health environment. And these are some of the things that we can do to help eradicate those filth. So you realize that whenever you neglect to maintain both internal cleanliness and external cleanliness, you have all sorts of conditions, from the infectious conditions to the non-communicable diseases. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother, for that in-depth uh, description and as explanation. What else can I add to it? What other word do I have to analysis and and critically concluded on this issue, which is the external and internal cleanliness, which is very important topic that brother Ackon has led us through this discussion. But upon all the discussions that came on board this afternoon, we can all see that water is very important. So wherever we are, I recommend that let water be very close to you. Either internal or external cleanliness, you need water for it. Water is very important. That's why we always say that you can survive without food, but without water, it is impossible to survive with it. So don't forget to have your water close. When you have water close to you, you have water at heart, and that will help you to survive in times of troubles. Brother has taken us through so many steps that we can prevent ourselves in order to live a healthy and clean life that will sustain our life to wherever God wants to take us to. This afternoon, we've heard our brother. Let us ponder over it and see where we fall short, where we can go back to Sankofa to see what we were doing previously that we have stopped doing it because of the availability of so many things that are not helping our health or the growth of our healthy nature. Brother, God bless you. And to everyone watching us this afternoon, we say, God bless you for staying with us until this time. This moment, I would like us to recognize and acknowledge our two brothers. My own brother, Quad, who celebrated his birthday early this week, and to my teacher, my childhood teacher, Chief Inspector Reginald Herbert Asamoah Otu at Pokuasi. May God bless all of us. To whoever we are not able to mention your name, Sister Josephine, Brother Gavin, and the first one, Sister Christiana. May God bless all of us as we journey through health issues together. The same time again next week. Please remember that health issues is on board at Richmore Media. From here, don't leave us. We're just spoiling ourselves and get back to another episode of From the Beginning. The same time again, 2:30 UK time next week. See you. Until then, my name is Hanna Bimah, and my guest is Brother George Ackon. God bless us all. Thank you.
Enjoy